You really have to see this to believe it. The very same Republican congressman who denied that there was any insurrection on January 6th has now been caught in pictures showing him looking panicked and barricading the doors of the House of Representatives with furniture to try to stop the insurrectionists, who he claimed don't exist, from coming into the House of Representatives. I'm speaking about Republican Congressman Andrew Clyde. Just last week, he said the riot looked like a, quote, normal tourist visit. Those are comments for which he was rightly excoriated. Ridiculous comments. Here is a picture of the same Andrew Clyde who said insurrection. No, this is just a tour. Here he is pushing a piece of furniture surrounded by security guards up against the doors of the House of Representatives. That's a normal tourist visit. Normal tourist visits require members of the House of Representatives to barricade the doors with furniture. Here's another picture of Clyde, and he looks, to say he looks scared for his life is not an exaggeration. It doesn't look like a normal congressional tourist visit to me. This was Clyde's original comment. You really have to see it to believe it.
Let me be clear. There was no insurrection, and to call it an insurrection, in my opinion, is a bold-faced lie. Watching the TV footage of those who entered the Capitol and walked through Statuary Hall showed people in an orderly fashion staying between the stanchions and ropes, taking videos and pictures. You know, if you didn't know the TV footage was a video from January the 6th, you would actually think it was a normal tourist visit.
It was a normal tourist visit. And yet Congressman Andrew Clyde holding up furniture against the door to prevent the insurrectionists from breaking in. I haven't heard a response from Clyde yet to these pictures being uncovered. But what could he possibly say? Oh, he was trying to pull down the furniture to let the peaceful visitors in. The image is deceptive because he was taking down the barricades, not putting them up. I can't even imagine what kind of response there would be here, but that's one of the most absurd that I can think of. Another possibility would be like maybe to argue semantics. Yes, they were breaking in. Yes, some of them were being violent. Yes, they were trespassing, but we can't call it an insurrection because they didn't really have a plan for how they would govern if they succeeded in overthrowing the government and stopping the process of counting the electoral votes. Like in some literal semantic sense, because they didn't have a plan for taking over control of the government, it's not an insurrection. I don't know. But bottom line, this is yet another attempt to normalize the situation. And what this goes to is that if they can make us think, if they can make us believe that what took place was normal and just blown out of proportion, maybe by the left, maybe they were not even real Trumpists, as they love to say, then they and their fellow Republicans might be off the hook for any wrongdoing in pushing for that January 6th insurrection by spending months claiming the election was stolen. And that, of course, includes Donald Trump as well. In normal circumstances, by which I mean sometime in the past, not recently, we might have thrown these people out of government by now. But Republican victimhood has allowed them to cry foul, to blame everybody else, and to continue to wreak havoc and do damage in their Senate and House of Representative jobs and roles. And case in point, yesterday's story about Marjorie Taylor Greene and her long record of harassment of fellow Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that type of behavior would get almost anyone fired from their job if you treated a coworker in that way. If in my organization, I found out that somebody did what Marjorie Taylor Greene has done to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I would have to meet with them and I would have to say, you can't work here anymore. This is it. That's not how this works. It's not allowable. We can't have that. It's outrageous. But they have to some degree successfully normalized all of this stuff. And that has also included obvious lying. Obvious lying has been completely normalized as well. So, you know, if I could wrap up with something optimistic or forward looking that is anything other than just horrible desperation for some kind of semblance of normality, I would. But I don't see any appetite from the American right wing, from the Republican Party, from particularly this Trumpian wing of the Republican Party, to hold any of these people accountable. And so the fear is, and I think that the last few months have shown us that it's a well-founded fear, the fear is they will continue to do this stuff and attempt to rewrite history, normalize absolutely horrendous things well into the 2022 election. And if Donald Trump gets his way and he gets to decide who is on the approved list of good boys and bad boys, good girls and bad girls, and who wins in 2022, not only may Republicans take over the House, it may be a particularly Trumpian Republican wing that takes over the House. And it sets the stage for Trump, or maybe, if you can imagine, someone even worse in 2024. So I don't think this is trivial stuff. And I know we started with just the kernel, which is a guy who was barricading the doors now claims there really wasn't an insurrection. And it is a form of gaslighting that leads to a lot of potentially horrible things getting into the midterms in the 2024 election. So we will continue to follow it. And there are others like Clyde making similarly outrageous statements, which maybe we'll talk about later this week. Remember that Monday, Memorial Day, we are doing a one-day membership special. If you've been thinking, I don't know, maybe I'll get one of those memberships. Get a membership before they run out. On Monday, Memorial Day, we'll be doing a big one-day discount. You can get on my mailing list at davidpakman.com, and Monday, Memorial Day, you'll get an email telling you how to sign up. If you've been watching the show, you've probably heard me talk about how much I love my Helix mattress. Well, I was really excited to hear that Helix has launched a new company called Allform, which makes premium, customizable sofas and chairs with the same level of quality and comfort that I expect from these guys. And Allform is one of our sponsors today. They're giving you 20% off at allform.com/Pakman. They actually sent me a couch, which I put in my living room at home. It's now my favorite piece of furniture in the house. It took me just minutes to set it up. It's solidly built. It's huge. It's roomy. It has a modern minimalist design, which I love, but it's also very comfortable. Fabric is soft, clearly very high quality. It has become the focal point of my living room. Their prices are very reasonable. And when you get a new sofa or chair, you get 100 days to decide if you want to keep it. And the best part is everything comes with a lifetime warranty. Stop buying poorly made furniture. Go to customize your own Allform sofa or chair right now and get 20% off your entire order when you get there by going to allform.com/Pakman. I've also put the link right underneath this video.